This is the design scorecard. The design scorecard is one of those clever little tools that can be used in just a wide variety of applications. Let's look at some components and then we'll talk about applications first. So here, as indicated or colored in the yellow section, is the voice of the customer. What is it, this product or service or process, how does it have to perform? What does it have to meet? What is critical to? And so we list those right here, and we look at the metric, the unit, the data type, the target if it exists, whether or not there's an upper and a lower spec limit. And so we capture that here. The red, yellow, green is actually determined here, and you can put whatever whatever ranking for red, yellow, and green that you want. You can put it in here, and it will translate into whether or not this particular critical to is being met by the process or by the product, whether or not it's being met. Okay, so moving on to moving over to the right, we've got long-term and short-term data type. I would just suggest that you always work short-term unless you've got very low volume processes that take many weeks or months to produce a product. I would suggest you use, and in which case you use long-term, but I would suggest you use short-term. The defect rate, if that's appropriate, the mean, and the standard deviation. Now, of course, when you've got attribute data, we're talking about defects. So when you've got continuous type data, you don't have a defect rate. So that's why you've got NAs here. So anywhere you see attribute type data, you've got probably a defect rate. And then similarly, every place you've got attribute data, you have no mean and standard deviation. Okay. And then over here, you've got the actual. So this is voice of the process. This blue part I failed to mention. Voice of the process. How is the upper spec limit being met? How's the lower spec limit being met? What is the total defects per million? What's the roll throughput? And then what is the Z bench based on the upper and the lower spec limit for this particular requirement? And what's the overall Z bench as well? So how do you manage this? Well, the first thing you do is you want to put the requirements in here. So notice I've got as a requirement on-time delivery. So down here further in the spreadsheet, down below in the spreadsheet, I've got on-time delivery. And I want to specify a means of capturing the data itself. So I've got here dates, and I've got the actual value. And then notice here that I'm calculating the mean and the standard deviation for the data points that are in these cells. And then if I move down just a little bit, I've got, let me just go up. Requirement number 2 is order accuracy. So if I go down, I have order accuracy in the same thing. I've got the dates that I'm going to capture those data points, or the dates I did capture those data points, the data itself, and then the mean and the standard deviation, and so on. Compliance and time between failures and so forth. Okay, so however many you have specified here in the spreadsheet, you will have a means of recording the data for each of these down further in the spreadsheet. And then this information is transposed up to the top here. So I've got, for example, on-time delivery, I've got a mean of 97, I've got a standard deviation of 1.4. These are percents or points, so that the mean is 97%, the average of 96 and 98, and that's translated here. Okay, so this is how the process is performing. What the customer has said, or what the requirements tell us, is that for on-time delivery, we're looking for a target of 100, and we're looking for a lower spec limit no less than 95%. Currently, we are hitting 97% based on these 2 data points. We've got a standard deviation of 1.4%. And that translates into a defects per million of about 78,650 and a Z bench of about 1.41. So 1.41 Z. So clearly that is not very good. We could, if we had our data was 199, you can see that our standard deviation has gone way down, our defects have gone way down, and our z-bench has gone way up, based again on these these two data points. So as you collect the data for your product or your process, or actually a collection of processes, what you're really looking for is keeping an eye on this number. How is it performing overall? And then to the extent that it is or isn't performing well overall, where is it not performing well? So here, for example, in terms of meeting on-time delivery, we're doing fine, but in terms of order accuracy, we're not doing well at all. In terms of lead time, we're not doing well at all. And then in terms of age, we're not doing well at all. So maybe these then are the focus for new projects or new initiatives. Time to go and look at those particular processes in detail so that we can get the overall process capability up to whatever level we're trying to achieve. Now, notice that we've got what seems to be here, and you don't know what these are, but what seems to be happening is you've got a different number of processes. So on-time delivery is, or just delivery is one process. Order accuracy might be a different process. Compliance with some requirement might be a completely different process. So the design scorecard can be used for department, an organization, a business unit. It could be any other collection of processes where the overall capability is important to monitor or to understand or to know, perhaps to meet contractual requirements. You can use this for product to measure different the performance of different components of the product. You can use it to measure both the product and the processes that support the product, and of course the people that support those processes and the product. You can use it for that. So the design scorecard is incredibly versatile. It is intended to monitor capability. So anytime you want to know, are we capable? Are we meeting some standard in any number of different ways where there's a multitude of requirements? The design scorecard is the tool to go to. Fantastic tool, very, very easy to use, and it gives the strategic view of how are we doing and where are we performing well and where are we not performing well. So it can be used strategically to monitor capability, but also used strategically to guide further improvement initiatives. Again, get to know the design scorecard. It's a fantastic tool, and that is the design scorecard.